Alright, guys, we're here for another episode of 5 for Talking News, just a little thing to get you going for the hockey season. 5 for Talking will be back shortly, so look out for that. Let's just jump right into this. And the first thing I want to tell you is, holy crap, is the Eastern Conference looking way, way better than the West this year. Like, almost like landslide. Almost every team in the East is a playoff, like, ability to make the playoffs team. Like, they're not all the best, but in the West, there's like a lot of like iffy teams out there. So I'm just gonna throw some things from each side. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want how you feel about it. I don't really care. Anyways, so I'm gonna give you my big 5 teams in the East to start it off, and that's Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, Pittsburgh Penguins, the Boston Bruins, and the Washington Capitals. Those are the 5 teams I think are the best teams. Guaranteed playoff spots. No matter where they finish in 1 to 8, all of those teams will have a playoff spot. So I'm also gonna just jump right into the West, I guess. Here's your West big 5: the Nashville Predators, the Winnipeg Jets, the St. Louis Blues, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Stars, and it's a toss-up between Vegas and Los Angeles, but because of what Vegas did last year, I'll just lean towards Vegas for that. So yeah, those teams I'll say for sure are going to be in. So after those big 5, I got a next category. I'll call it the next ones, and I guess they're the teams that can hang. They're like the second tier teams in each division that will most likely round out the playoff spots or at least be competitive for the top. In the East, I would say it's Philly, Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the West, it's probably Anaheim, Minnesota, San Jose, and either the other opposite of Los Angeles, Vegas. But I pick Vegas, so we'll say the Kings. And then a couple sneaky, bold picks of teams that potentially have what it takes to sneak into a playoff spot. In the East, I would say it's Florida, Buffalo, Carolina. I know that's Carolina is a little crazy, and I think Buffalo got much better. We still have to see, but they'll sneak around. Florida's going to be a team that might squeak in, so we'll see what happens with those guys. Buffalo made some good pickups, like I said. I'd like to see what they're going to do. In the West, I would say Colorado and Calgary. Calgary's had a pretty good overall team the last 3-4 seasons and just hasn't really produced anything out of it. I think this year they might make the playoffs. Colorado's pretty solid too. We'll definitely have to see how that goes. Like, Gray, it's pretty early for predictions, but that's just what I'm throwing out there. We don't have preseason yet. My 2 picks for the bottom feeders in each division are Montreal in the East. I think Montreal is going to be the worst team in the NHL next year. Carey Price aside, I don't think he's good enough anymore. After everything he's went through, I don't think he's the best goalie in the world anymore, and they're going to finish last. In the West, Vancouver. They made a lot of good little moves and draft picks and stuff, but they're way too weak overall to make it. I don't think they have the proper goaltending to win. And then from both divisions, once again, I have the disappointment. So I think, I don't know if it would be disappointment, but Ottawa for sure in the East. They came off a huge year where they went to the semifinals. The next year they started off good and then just completely blew apart. And then the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers are not making the playoffs. And I know people are thinking the Islanders. Yeah, but I don't really have any expectations for the Islanders. So the Rangers have been a playoff caliber team for 10 years. So I don't know. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Not with a lot of those young teams, Florida, Buffalo, Carolina, trying to get a spot. And in the West, I think Chicago doesn't make the playoffs again. I think that's a huge disappointment, and I think Edmonton doesn't make the playoffs again as well. Though I can almost guarantee that Connor McDavid is going to probably get 100 points again. So that's all I wanted to go through with the teams really quick. that's basically what I want to talk about in this episode. I'd just also like to have a quick chat about Rick Nash. Is Rick Nash done? Does Rick Nash have anything left in the tank? I mean, you're coming up on September now. Preseason games are going to start soon. Rick Nash still doesn't have a contract. He's definitely the highest caliber player left on free agency, and not even an offer to him yet as far as we know. No teams are even interested in him as far as we know. The really big teams probably can't afford him right at this point, salary cap wise. And the teams with space are near the bottom, and it doesn't really make sense for them to spend money on him. He's not gonna help them make the playoffs. I mean, you're looking at a guy who had multiple big goal seasons, 50 goal seasons, I think. I'm pretty sure he had at least one. Guy won the Rocket Richard trophy. And then just slowly, as soon as he left Columbus, it all just kind of fell apart. Like, there's a chance, potential, maybe like a mid-range team that's pushing for the playoffs might make a shot at him. Vegas. I mean, Vegas is not a mid-range team. I'd say they're a little bit above, but they got space. I don't know what he brings. He's too slow. Florida, I see potential of Florida trying to make a move for him on a low contract, trying to push for the playoffs. Or maybe even Tampa Bay offering him like a $1 million contract to come over there. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I don't see too many options for him, and it's weird to see how he fizzled out like that. Anyways, that's it for this 5 for Talking quick news edition. Let me know what you guys want to see for the next episode in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe! Okay, go.